Hello everyone, welcome to our NCE training courses. I'm Arnold from NovaStar, today's host. Our training will start soon, and today we'll talk about a very useful function, cascading and redundancy configurations. To provide you a good training environment, we sincerely suggest you to keep your audio on the mute mode during the whole session. Please scan the QR code or click the link at the chat room to sign in. If you can't click the link, please copy it and paste it to your browser. Please feel free to leave your questions that are related to today's topic on the chat room. We will reply to you later on the Q&A sessions. If you have another questions that are not about today's contents, please feel free to send an email to nce@novastar.tech. So let's welcome Stan. He is today's trainer.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Stan from NovaStar, and good morning and also good afternoon to everyone. It has been 5 months since the last NCE training, and during this period, we have received many emails from customers asking for news about the second online NCE training, and now we are back. Thanks to the friends who have always supported NovaStar, thank you. And I'd like to start with a short introduction of NCE training to the guys who are not much familiar with it. So the full name of NCE is NovaStar Certified Engineer. We have trained more than 3,000 individuals all over the world since it started in 2014. And by given multiple courses and valuable chances to embrace the LED control system, NCE courses enable you to operate and maintain the equipment independently. And because of the special situation, this year we hold the training online. And we are hoping more techniques could get the knowledge and the certification even in this hard time. And this term, we will have 7 courses and a final examination. So you could get an online training certification if you sign in at least 6 courses and pass the final exam. So I hope you guys can go to all the courses and can get a good final score. Okay, let's jump into today's topic, which are 2 parts. The first one is the cascading, and the second one is the redundancy configuration. So before entering into today's training, we have to know what is the cascading and why we have to do cascading sometimes. Let's see this structure. So this is a basic structure of the LED system. Let's see them one by one. So we have the control PC on the top left part, and a video processor to process the video source coming from the control PC. And then because this screen maybe is a big screen, so we are using 2 pieces of the VX4S because one is not enough. The loading capacity we talked about it last week. So maybe the screen is too big for one processor, so we have 2 VX4Ss. And the video processor provides 2 DVI signals to the VX4S. But actually in this structure is the structure of the redundancy configuration. So you can see each VX4S are connecting the same part of the LED screen. So we will talk about the structure later, but in this structure, you have to notice that the USB cable from here, we are using a USB cable from the control PC and to connect the first VX4S. And then there is one more USB cable coming from the first VX4S to the second one. So that is the cascading. We are using only one port of our control PC, one USB port to control these 2 VX4Ss. So we can control them all together at the same time. So that's the cascading and why we need the cascading. The first reason is for a unified control of screens when driven by several controllers, such as big screens with several controllers. If we want to send the parameters to the whole screen, cascading is our choice. We can control them all together and just use one software, one computer to send the parameters to the whole screen. And the second reason is for redundancy configuration. In some situations, the cascading is necessary for the redundancy configuration. And also later we will talk about how to do redundancy and why we need the redundancy. So in this part, you can see from the software interface right here is our, I think you must be very familiar with it, Nova LCD software. So right here it's showing the control system is 1. So there is only one control system, meaning that there is only one USB port from our computer to the controller. But if we click View Details of Device, we can see actually there are 2 VX4Ss. The number of device is 2, and it's all these 2 devices is using only one USB port. So if we click the screen configuration, the same, only one USB port, and actually we can control these 2 together. Okay, so we know why we need the cascading and what the cascading is. So we have to know how can we realize the cascading. So let's talk about cascading connection. So there are several ways to do the cascading. The first way is that when we are using the controller name is MSD300, MSD600, so the cascading will be a little bit different. If you have these 2 cards as a controller, we are using this cable. This is a 5-pin flat cable. So this 5-pin flat cable is connecting the J18 and J16 on the card to do the cascading. So from the picture, you can see that on the left part, that is J18, and there is an out. There is an out icon. It's meaning that this is the UART out, so it's a cascading out. And the other one is a G6. G6, there is an in, so it is a cascading in. So it's meaning that the left one should be the first controller to connect with our computer by the USB cable. And if we have the second MSD300, we need to use the flat cable to connect the left one, J18, to the second one, the J6. So after connection like that, we can finish the cascading. So we will get these 2 cards cascaded. So this is the first way when we are using the MSD300 and the MSD600. So the second way is a little bit different. The M-Control 300 and M-Control 600. So I think you must have some products like that because it's our we already have this product for like 7 or 6 years. So for these controllers, we can also do the cascading. So remember that every controller can do cascading, but just in different ways. So for the M-Control 300 and 600, we are using this cable. Actually, this cable is also a 5-pin cable, but the shape is different. So on the box, we can find UART out and also UART in. So the same, the UART out from the first one to connect the UART in the second one can finish the cascading job. Okay, so that's the way for the M-Control 300 and M-Control 600. So is a controller with one more box than the MSD 300 and the MSD 600. Okay. Let's see the third one, the third way, M-Control 660. This is a cascading for the M-Control 660. I know this controller is very popular in the global market. So for this controller, we also need to notice that the cascading way is also different. So on the back panel of the 660, we can see there is a UART in and UART out as well, but the interface is not the 5-pin interface anymore. It is an Ethernet cable. So for the 660, M-Control 660 right here, we are using the normal Ethernet cable to do the cascading. The same, the UART out to connect the next UART in to do the cascading. So that's the way for the M-Control 660. So far, we already talked about the 3 ways for several controllers. So let's see the last way. The fourth way is a cascading of all the other controllers. So that's the controllers for in our global market. So all these controllers actually are newer than the other the previous controllers, like the M Control R5, M Control 4K, Pro HD, Pro UHD, Pro UHD Junior VX4S or something like that. So all the controllers right here, when you look at the back panel of the controller, you will see a two USB interface. So it's indicating that one is in and the other one is out. So it means that for these controllers, we don't use a 5-pin cable. We don't use the Ethernet cable to do the cascading anymore. We just use the normal USB cable to do the cascading. So the same USB cable, we connect our computer to our controller. We just use one more cable like that to do the cascading. So that's the way for the other controllers. Okay, but there is a note you need to pay attention to. The cascading won't work if the PC connects the controller by the Ethernet cable. So because for these controllers, we support not only the USB cable to control, but also the Ethernet cable to control. So considering the distance, maybe in some situation, you will choose an Ethernet cable to connect your PC and the controller rather than the USB cable. But you have to know that if you are using the Ethernet cable between your computer and the controller cannot to do the cascading with the rest of them. So that's very important. So I will see in this way, if you are using one Ethernet cable with a controller, you have to use Ethernet cable to the other controllers, not the cascading way. So you have to set different IP address for different controllers, like in a router, that's also fine, but no more cascading if you are using the Ethernet cable. So if you want to do the cascading with all the controllers, you have to make sure every cable in the loop is USB cable. You have to know that. Okay, that's so much for the cascading connections. But when we connect the cables, how can we know if the cable connection is good? How can we know the cascading is working? So the way to check if the cascading works is in the software. In the NovaStar software, after we log in, we can see from the main interface if it is showing that the control system is 1. And after clicking the view details of device, if it shows more than one device, just like if you connect 3 devices and it shows the number 3, it means that the cascading is working right now and the connection is without any problems. So that's the way to do the check if the cascading is successful. And also, if we click the screen configuration, we will see the USB port is only 1. So we can see from here to check if the cascading is working. Okay, so that's so much for the cascading. And next part will be a very important part. Why do we need the redundancy backup? I think maybe some of you already know how to do the redundancy, and maybe some of you don't know what the redundancy is. I have to tell you that the redundancy is really a good function. So let's see. What is the redundancy? How to back up? So in this structure, it's also a normal structure. The PC is providing a video signal. It's going through a video processor. So after that, the video signal will come into our controller. And right now in this picture, I'm using the M Control 600. So you can use any other controllers. And after this M Control 600, we will use the Ethernet cable to connect all the screens, all the cabinets, right? That's the normal structure. So of course, if it's working in the normal status, of course, all the screens are working perfectly. It should be that everyone will see the picture or the video on the LED screen. That's no problem. But we all know the Ethernet cable is not that stable. It may be sometimes we have a lot of Ethernet cable on the screen. A lot of, and each Ethernet cable will have 2 ends, right? one is from the previous card and the other to the next receiving card. So for that, we have a lot of points and may have the problem may happen on them. So if one point, one cable is broken or the connection is loose, so the rest part of the LED screen won't get any signal from our LED screen, from our PC, right? So the rest part will show in black, will be showing black. So that isn't what I want, what the customer wants. So if we already prepare the redundancy channel, just now we talk about actually that is the main channel. And if we have repaired the redundancy channel, like the video signal going through the other controller, the one more M control 600, and the Ethernet cable connects to the last receiving card on the main channel, in the main channel loop. So actually, and also after we've done the software configuration, when the Ethernet cable is broken in somewhere in the screen, actually the LED control system, our NovaStar control system, will notice that there is one point is broken. So the control system will automatically be switched to the redundancy channel. So before this problem point, all the receiving card gets the signal from the main channel. And after this problem point, that's all the signal will come in from the redundancy channel. And I have to say that when the system is switching this point, nobody will find the LED screen is doing something differently. So the screen is always working and it's always showing perfectly, showing the screen, showing the image. But only you and only the engineer, later you can check in our system, there is a one Ethernet cable is broken, but that's no problem for our clients, right? They won't find any difference. So that's the redundancy hot backup. What is the redundancy hot backup? So how can we set up the backup in the Nova LCD? So there are also several ways to do the redundancy. So the first way is when we are using a small screen and there are available ports on the controller, such as this structure. I just have a screen with 8 cabinets. So I can use only one output to do the main channel to connect these 8 cabinets, considering the loading capacity we talked in the first class. So on the VX4S, there are totally 4 outputs, but I only use one. So it's meaning that we still have three more ports available. So actually, I can use like the port 2 to do the redundancy. That's because there is available ports. So I just connect the port 2 to the last receiving card of the output 1 cabinet loop. So that's the physical connection. And for this way, let's see, after the physical connection, how can we manage that on our software? Still in the Nova LCT. So because right now it's only one VX4S, right? So the control system is one, and the number of device is only one. And we can click the screen configuration, check the current operation port, click connect. The first thing we have to do is that we do the basic configuration for the LED screen, which Darren showed you last week, the basic LED configuration. So the first thing is that we have to make the screen showing perfectly. It's showing good. Everything is working, just like in the screen connection. Let's get a review. Choose the columns on the rows of your LED screen. Choose the Ethernet port number. Enter the receiving card size, the pixel. Right now I'm showing the P3.9 cabinet, which resolution is 128 by 128. So, and then I connect, the next step 4 is to connect all the cabinets in the real way. So it starts from this cabinet. So because I'm using port 1 to connect the screen, and then click send to hardware and click save. So this is the basic configuration. We need to make sure the LED screen is working. to finish the basic configuration, and then let's check what we need to do for the redundancy. Let's go back to the sending card part. Sending card side, there will be a redundancy configuration area. So in this situation, we just click Add, and a small window will pop up. So in this small window, we need to enter the corresponding relationship between the primary port and the backup port. So for this structure, I'm using only one controller, and the port 1 is a primary and the port 2 is a backup. So let's see. The first, we have to enter the number for the top left blank, number 1, and also the top right blank, number 1, because those are the serial number of the controller. So we have to identify whether there is a primary controller or the backup controller. But in this structure, we only have one controller, so the number should be all same, it's 1. But the third blank and the fourth blank will be different. So the bottom left is the serial number of the primary port, so which we are using port 1. And the last blank is the number of the backup port. So the backup port, I'm using number 2. I'm also connecting the Ethernet cable from port 2 to the last receiving card. So we have to change the number in the last blank too. So after finishing this, we click Add. After clicking Add, we can click Close, because we are using only one relationship, only port 1, port 2. So if we have more ports to waiting for the configuration, we have port 3 and port 4, port 5, port 6. We just, after we clicking Add, and we change the number right here and click Add again. So add the relationship for each one by one right here. Because right now I'm just showing one port, one relationship. After I click Add, we can close the small window, and the software will show you the relationship we just set. Like the primary part is, the primary sending card is 1, and the primary number of the port is 1, and then the corresponding backup controller is still 1, but the backup port is 2. So after we check that, we double check right here, we have done the correct corresponding relationship set. We can click Send and click Save. So that's the redundancy for the small screens. If we have only one port or 2 ports, that means we have only one controller and the available ports on them. We can do the redundancy configuration like that. And also after this setting, you can just have a try, plug out the port 1, the main channel, and see if the screen is working or not. Okay, that's the first way. Let's see the second way, redundancy on multiple cascaded units. So it's meaning that we have a big screen, or we have bigger screens, and we need to, so the screen is too big, and one controller, we don't have any available ports on the controller, so we have to add one more available controller, just like this structure. So we have 2 VX4Ss, and I'm just using 2 ports. Actually, there are 4, but you know, I'm just trying to demonstrate this structure. So if we are using all the ports from the main channel, the main controller, and we are using the cascading. We use one more USB cable to cascade these 2 controllers. And for the second one, for the redundancy controller, all the ports is to connect the last receiving card of the corresponding primary port of the first controller. Just like that. Let's see, the output 1 of the VX4S is controlling the top part of the LED screen. So the last receiving card right here, there should be one more available port on this receiving card on this cabinet. So we can use the other output 1 of our redundancy controller, the second VX4S, to connect to this receiving card. So the same for the output 2, and also if you have output 3 or 4, that's all the same. So but in this structure, we are using the USB cable to do the cascading. And the other thing we have to notice is that the video processor right here is providing two DVI signals, so which are totally same. So this actually two VX4Ss right here. They are receiving the exactly same video source. So two DVI source that is produced by the video processor. As well, if you don't have any video processor, you can use like an HDMI splitter, DVI splitter, which just can keep the control PC splits the DVI from one. I should say copy the DVI from one to two pieces. So we have two from one DVI, and then we have two DVIs, same DVIs, and to our VX4S. And also, actually, on the VX4S, we have the DVI loop design on the VX4S. So the loop can also help you to keep these two controllers to have the same video source. Okay, so that's the basic physical structure. Let's see. When we are cascading these units, how can we manage the software? So in the NovaLCT, when we click view details of the device, we will see the control system is one, but two VX4Ss. The number of device is two. So the same, click screen configuration and click next. Still, the first thing is that we need to make sure the main channel is working perfectly. It's no problem. We have done the basic configuration. So in the screen connection, we can also see the sending card number will be 2 because there is a cascading. But remember that we only set the configuration to the sending card number 1. So like the screen is 4x4, and we are using the Ethernet port from the first sending card, like from the top left and that is a port 2, and also we finish the port that is port 1, and we finish the port 2 to do all this connection. Click send to hardware. So that's only for the main channel. We only configure the main channel, which is coming from the number 1 sending card, number 1 VX4S. So we just leave the second one. We don't configure the second one because the configuration of the second one will be in the redundancy part. So after that, we check the screen is working. We go back to the sending card. We go back to the sending card side. And the same, click add. So in this part, we still need to set the corresponding relationship between the primary ports and the backup ports. But the difference is coming. Now we have 2 controllers, not only 1. So the serial number of the primary controller should be 1, and the number of the backup controller should be 2, not 1 anymore. In the last structure, we are using 1, but right now we have to use 2. And the number of the primary port is 1 because I'm using the port 1 of the primary port to control the the half screen, and at the meantime, the backup port 1 of the backup controller is doing the redundancy job for the port 1 of the primary controller. So we have to change the number right here like this and click add. And then because we have the second relationship, right? So we just change the number of primary port is 2 and number of backup port is 2 as well. Keeps the primary controller and the backup controller numbers the same, 1 and 2. So we click add. And later we can check. Later we can check in this software setting, there will be 2 relationships and the same. If the primary can have the correct relationship with the backup port, that means we have done it well. And then click send and click save. So that's the way to do the redundancy configuration when we have multiple cascaded units. Remember this physical structure and also the software here. We only set the configuration to the sending card number 1. We don't set 2 screens, or we don't set the configuration for the backup controller. Remember that. So later we can check. So that's meaning that primary port is a port 1 of the unit number 1, VX4S number 1, and the corresponding backup port is a port 1 of the unit number 2. So same for port 2 from the primary and the backup. Okay, let's say the third one. The third way is a redundancy on multiple non-cascaded units. That means that we maybe have 2 controllers, but they are not cascading. So see the structure. All the DVI and the Ethernet cable outputs are same, but the control cable is different. We can use USB cable to control from the PC to these 2 VX4S separately. Also, maybe we are using Ethernet cable. That means they are not cascading. So in this way, that means we have 2 controllers, but not cascaded. So in this way, let's see, how should we manage the software? In the NovaStar, because we are using 2 USB ports of our computer, also maybe we are using an IP, 2 IP address of our computer by using a router. So it means that it will show you control system is not 1 anymore, it is 2. And when we click view the details of device, it will show you that the USB port we have actually 2 ports and with different number of the name, and they are controlling 1 device in each USB port. So when we click screen configuration, we can see from here the USB port is 0001 and the other one is 0005. So they are different USB ports, just like in our PC. So in this way, they are non-cascaded. So let's see how should we manage the software setting. So we have to choose the primary USB port. So the primary USB port is 001 in this PowerPoint, and we configure the primary SIM card in the basic configuration way. So it's still the 3.9 cabinets. The resolution is 128. After the connection, after all the connection, we send to hardware and click save. Step 6, save. But there is one more step. It's step 7. It is save to file. It's better to save the file, save the current configuration information as a file in our computer, because later we have to make these 2 controller, non-cascaded controller, exactly the same screen connection ways, the same configuration. So if we save the file right here, later we can load the file to copy this information to the other one. Okay, but we have not done with the primary SIM card yet. After finishing the basic configuration right here, we go back to the SIM card side. So in the redundancy configuration area, we don't need to set the port 1 by 1 anymore right here. We can just check the set as primary. So when we set as primary, it means that the control system knows this controller connecting by this USB port will be the primary controller. So, and then we just click save. So that's done for the primary SIM card. And then we have to go to the second controller. We just close all the window and click the screen configuration again and choose the USB port 005 right here. Choose the current operation as the number 5, and then click next. So in this one, the software will show you like that. There is no screen. We need to configure it again. But we have the file, right? We just save the file. We can click the load from file on the bottom, and then send to the hardware, and then click save. So in this way, these 2 controller will have the exactly same connection ways configuration. And then we haven't done yet. We need to go back to the SIM card part. It is still the backup SIM card, but we need to check set as backup. So the the system will know the second controller is a backup controller, and then click save. So that's so much for the redundancy on multiple non-cascaded units by using the software. And also because for the VX4S, if you have one, there is a LCD panel. And also for 4K, R5, all the other controllers, we have the front panel, LCD panel. We can do the redundancy on the third way by the knob, by the LCD panel. So after I will demonstrate the VX4S right here. We can choose the advanced setting, choose the redundancy, and set the controller as primary or as backup. So it's much easier than you do a lot of things in the software. So that's also a choice. Okay, that's so much for the redundancy, and let's do a summary about the redundancy configuration. So the redundancy configuration, actually we have 3 ways. The first way is the redundancy on the single unit. So configuring each, we have to configure each corresponding primary and backup port. We need to know the relationship and tell the software one by one. We need to configure them one by one. And the second one is the redundancy on cascaded units. That means we don't have any available ports on the controller, so we have to add one more controller to do the redundancy. And when the first thing we have to notice is that to set the screen connection on the primary port, primary unit, primary controller only, and then configure each corresponding primary and backup port, just like the first one. The first way, configure each corresponding primary and backup relationship. And the third way is a redundancy on non-cascaded units. So we have to keep same configurations on these 2 units. So I just show you to save as a file and load the file to easily do the same configuration. Also, you can redo it by yourself manually. And after that, we configure the whole unit to work as a primary or the backup in the redundancy area. So that's so much for the redundancy, and I hope you get the way to do the redundancy, and after the training, I hope you can do some practice to check if you can make the redundancy working. So what's more? Actually, we've done a lot of videos on our website, and if you if you visit our NovaStar official website, click support and training, and there is NovaStar online workshops. So we have done a lot of interesting tutorial videos and also some products introduction videos. So the NovaStar course series videos, the number 9 is a redundancy setting. So you can try to just watch the video and get a review of today's topic. I hope you can get more knowledge than before coming to today's NCE training. Okay, and thank you guys. That's so much for my part. And next part will be the Q&A session, and my colleague Lei will help you to answer all the questions you have about today's topic. And that's also the feedback form. Please help us to finish the feedback, to help us to improve our training. And please allow us to have a few seconds to prepare the Q&A session. And during the time, you are welcome to fill up the feedback. Thank you.